Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pulse. Today we have another great episode. We have one of San Antonio's best coffee shops, but also been voted one of the best coffee shops here in San Antonio. We have the owner of EarlyBird Coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
represent.
having me.
Yeah.
Man.
Appreciate that.
So let's start off with your name and
Yeah, my name is Jamal, and born and raised in San Antonio. Yeah, and my wife and I we opened up Early Bird Coffee back in November of 2020.
Oh, so
2020.
it's not that old. It's
No.
pretty
Yeah.
recent.
Yeah, it's pretty
And y'all
recent.
blown up that fast.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people that don't know us yet. They're like, "Oh, it's my first time," or
Yeah.
I've never heard of you guys. So
I've
we still
actually,
get a
I've
lot.
actually had people that I've talked to that know about y'all in like
Mhm.
San Marcos and Austin and stuff
Oh,
like
wow.
that. I'm being serious, yeah.
I mean, that's the power of social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because even if you said like, oh, it hasn't popped up as quickly, but I started like on your last end at your like coffee truck. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's when I got introduced.
That's how you got started with the truck?
Yeah.
So we started off with the a vintage Airstream,
An Airstream? You're talking
Nah,
about?
the
Yeah.
Oh,
campers.
those, yeah.
old fighter pilot jet
Yes.
panels. So well, it happened back in early 2020, right before COVID started.
Oh, damn it.
I was working at Cadillac just down the street from us, and we wanted to open up a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So we were about to sign a lease at a spot nearby where we currently are, and then we started watching the news. Hey, COVID 19. What's COVID 19? What is this? And it got pretty serious, and it sounds crazy, but ever since, I don't know if you guys remember, but remember that one incident where they shut down North Star Mall because of one incident? Remember that? And I mean, everyone freaked out. I mean, they sent like a cleaning crew to clean out and sanitize the whole entire mall. And then I think right after that, we saw Trump came on and was like, "Hey, he's halting all the flights from China and some other countries." Um, so that's when we're like, "Wait a minute, I don't think we should sign the paperwork. I think we should wait. There's something that doesn't seem right."
Yeah.
You know, and the people would call us. The broker would be like, "Hey, you guys are gonna come sign the paperwork, or what's the deal?" And we're like, "Well, hold on, we're gonna wait off on it a little bit. With this COVID-19 happening." So then it got really serious. So we just stopped. Period. And then I just continued my work at Cadillac. And by springtime, the end of spring, I told my wife, I said, I want to do something. We still got to do something. If it's not the coffee shop, let's figure something out. Let's try to find another business venture. And she said, well, we can still do coffee. How about we do a coffee trailer? And I said, oh, that's not a bad idea. That's okay.
Foot in the door, gets
Yeah, they're pretty successful.
Yeah.
You see the little spots around town.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, you've taken me.
Yeah, I've taken a couple,
Yeah.
and it's like they tend to be. It's always good because like it feels like very neighborhoody. You know what I mean? Like it's to get that
Yeah.
community base right off the bat.
And not only that, it's not much investment that you're putting into. Um, it's not like a brick and mortar where your insurance, rent, staffing, furniture, all that costs a lot of money. Especially when you're starting off. Um, so I said, okay, let's. That's actually a really great idea. And then I said, well, there was at the time there were some few coffee trailers and or trucks, and I said, you know what, we got to find something different, something that's gonna pop, something that's gonna make people want to come to our truck, not just a typical box trailer.
That
Like
typical
a
rec
igloo
trend.
full of just regular coffee.
You get coffee trucks, and I told her, I was like, we got to find something that's people. People spend a lot of money on marketing, right? But if you invest in something that's completely different, um, that's gonna attract the people. So you're already investing the money in that way to attract people.
Like it takes money to make money.
Yes.
Exactly.
Rather than in having a box trailer and then investing a lot of money for marketing, where that marketing money you invested into the building or the truck, for example, or the equipment, right? So I was looking online and I said, oh man, this is it. It was a beautiful Airstream that I saw in Korea.
Yeah.
It was South Korea.
Oh.
Not North Korea. It's not like you could just fly it over, right?
So I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I was like, this would be amazing, serving coffee out of this trailer.
Yeah.
And
It's so different and
Mhm.
dope. And those things are so
Yeah.
rare.
They are, and in all honesty, like I go to that little shopping center a lot before you guys had your brick and mortar. Because I used to go to the stores there, GameStop, all that. They have other stuff there, and when we saw that trade, we're like, "Yo, what is this?" And then we saw a lot of people just flock there, and just like that made us stop and see like, "Oh, this is a coffee trade." Yeah, it
Yeah.
made us definitely.
Yeah.
when we first had the trailer, I didn't have any signage. I didn't have our business name. It was just the trailer. Well, because to get a truck or a trailer wrapped or anything wrapped, I mean, it costs money.
Yeah.
So we're just in the beginning stages. We're like, oh well, let's see how it goes. We're taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
And we would just get random people that would approach the trailer like, hey, what do you guys have? What do you guys serve? Oh, coffee. Like, oh, great, give me one. And it just took off from there. And
that's
and then people enjoyed the coffee at the same time. So
Yeah.
we were looking also for quality coffee. So the trailer attracted people to our business, and then when we specialize in coffee, people thought, okay, well, this is really good coffee. I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
Boom, that was the recipe.
So how necessarily do you make really good coffee? I understand. Well, I don't understand the beans and the process in which it takes to make
Yeah.
the product, but I know that it's like an artistry. Like the whole
Mhm.
thing to get to the finished product, and then also the cost of it too is going up,
Yeah.
and it's like
The cost of coffee.
yes,
Yeah, I think the price, it's not so much the beans, it's more of it, the labor. The labor, when once it arrives here, it's very rare to find people that know how to roast coffee. That's number one. And then second, baristas. It's very, very hard to find good qualified baristas that know how to make coffee, because anything can affect the coffee. You can have great coffee beans, but if it, the espresso machine could be a bad espresso machine. The most important thing is the grinder. The grinder is one of the key components. If you don't have a very good grinder, then you're not gonna have a
Really?
very good coffee. So the grinder is very important.
do you want it
Yeah.
like fine or do you want it like
Like,
mid grade or
It just depends. Depends on the coffee. Depends on the roast, and also the humidity can affect the grinds as well. So the temperature can also, like in the room, could affect the coffee grinds. So we had that issue on the trailer where on the trailer we had this. I think it was about 6 feet long window. You remember the window? It would open up. So in Texas weather, it's like this,
Yeah.
right? It's always changing, and the grinder was right beside the door, so that the humidity can easily affect the coffee.
Oh wow.
So we would always try to dial in the coffee to where it needs to be at least 4 or 5 times a day. Inside a shop, do it once, twice maybe, if your grinder's close to the like say for example our brick and mortar now, our grinder's kind of close to the front door. So as people come in and out, the temperature, the humidity is coming inside the shop, so it affects the grinds. So that would also affect your coffee.
Do you prefer grinding it separate from a machine like yourself? Because I know there's some machines that I've seen at coffee shops that they have the beans there and it grinds and it was like that. But I always noticed with yours, it's always been a separate process.
Yeah, most coffee shops have it that way. It just depends on the machine, but it's to me, I think it's better being separate because you can control the coffee grinds um, when you're dialing in the coffee. So yeah, but plus I'm used to the grinder being separate from the espresso machine. Haven't really worked with one that where the grinders with the espresso machine.
How expensive are those machines? Because I've
God,
seen them and they're like as much as a car.
There, yes. So
Yeah.
ours was, I believe, about 30 to 35,000. Yeah, just for the espresso machine.
I'm complaining about my $1,000 coffee machine over here.
Yeah, they're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
It depends. It's like a car, like you said.
Yeah.
Depends on the maker and the size of it. So we have a 3 group
Which is
machine. So it's 3 portafilters. So it's gonna make coffee, you know, 3 times. Then some coffee shops have 2 or 1. You know, but when you're a busy shop, you got to think about, you know, getting the coffee out as quickly as possible because nobody likes waiting for their coffee more than like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You know, they want to grab their coffee and go.
Yeah.
And trying to be efficient but still deliver specialty coffee is the challenge because anyone can just grind coffee, put it on the machine, and pull the shot and think it's good.
Yeah.
It takes a barista or someone who knows how to pull coffee, how to pull good coffee, and make sure it comes out right, and also steaming the milk. That's also important, you know. So all our staff were trained on that. Yeah, staff is amazing, by the way. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Amazing,
They're
amazing.
always super friendly. Definitely, they're always there.
I
And-
mean, you're at where you're at.
For a reason.
Obviously.
We try. I think the biggest thing is we love what we do. So it's very, very important. You got to have passion no matter what um, you want to do, what business you want to get into or invest in. It's not always about, yes, it's about money, but not, you know, want to be a millionaire or,
Yeah.
it's just, hey, I want to be comfortable and make money and enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why I wanted to get out of Cadillac at Ken Bachelor, because I wasn't really. I was there for a long time already. I needed a different challenge, and also I wanted to spend more. I wanted to spend more time with my kids.
Oh yeah.
So that was very, very important to me. And I already had accomplished everything I needed to do at Cadillac, and I was ready for another challenge. And that's why I told my wife, I was like, let's do a coffee shop. Um,
How did she feel about it initially?
Yeah, because that's a big change. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the security. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she was a stay-home mom, so she lived comfortably at home. I worked every single day, and I mean, she was up for it. She felt like, okay, she wanted to do something as well for
Yeah.
herself. And I think with my experience in the restaurant business, and in customer service, and then her passion for coffee, because she's always liked coffee, and said, hey, let's do it.
But where did that passion from coffee come from, though?
Ah, yeah, that's a good question.
Because mine came from the weirdest place. I was watching when I was a kid. I saw I don't know if you guys seen it, South Park. There's he already knows where I'm going with it. There's a character called Tweak on there, and he's always twitching, always like angsty because his parents own a coffee shop.
Really? I never. Okay, now I need to YouTube that.
YouTube Tweak, and he's always like switching because they're always giving him coffee.
His buttons are all undone. And stuff, like he rushed through it.
And his parents, they're like, oh, hey, Tweak's tricky now, and his parents are like, oh, he just because he needs more coffee. You know what I mean? So when I grew up, I was like, okay, let's see what this coffee's about. You know what I mean?
And then the caffeine just hits your veins.
There you go, I get it.
I lived overseas temporary, and I've always been around European style coffee, cappuccinos, cortados.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when I lived overseas, that's what I was used to, the type of coffee. I've grown to love that type of coffee. And then when I came back to the States, I couldn't find something similar to what I was used to overseas. I'm like, man, I can't find anything. I would go to different. First, obviously, I would go to Starbucks. I'm like, nope, this is not it. Then I'll go to another coffee shop. Nope, that's not it. Go here. Nope, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm looking for.
I had a palette for it already.
Mm-hmm.
A palette, yeah, exactly, a palette. and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then also plus when I was at Cadillac, I mean, I was working from 7 a.m. to almost 7 p.m. every single day. So yeah, I lived off coffee to keep me through the day. So I was always drinking coffee, and I think that's the reason why we just got into. And my wife loved coffee. She's always had a, what do you call that, Starbucks membership, or I don't know, I don't know what you call
You
it.
get the point system.
Is that what is it? The app, Starbucks app.
Yeah, Starbucks app, like for every dollar you get like a point or something. But if you use like their app and reload like their digital card, it doubles the points on it. And so it's just for them. And then it's like, but it takes so like, oh, you get 500 stars or points, then you get a free coffee. And it's like you have to waste so much money just to get it. But people went crazy for it when it first came out.
Yeah. So she always had money in there, but I couldn't drink that. I was like, no, I'm good. You know Starbucks? You want a caramel macchiato? No, I'm good.
In fact, it's funny that you said that. Have you ever watched Talladega Nights? Where he's like, you made me spill my macchiato.
Oh, that's right. The driver was from Italy. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
It would be spilling. He was like, why are you driving? I remember that. But like you said, like I first started with Starbucks because I was younger. I didn't know where to go and stuff like that. I started with it, and then it's like after a while, and then I worked there for like a little bit, and then I just got tired of their coffee in a sense. It was just for me, it was like, okay, I'm just drinking sugar at this point.
Pretty
and
much, yeah.
and then obviously my wife got tired of it too. And then at that point, that's when we researched local coffee shops. And then that's when we started getting more
connoisseurs.
Yeah, we started going like now whenever we go somewhere, even if it's out of the States, we gotta do coffee tours. Like last time we went to Costa Rica.
No, we're the same way. When we go on vacation, we're like, all right, let's find our specialty coffee shops. Because there's coffee shops and there's specialty coffee shops. If you're making a macchiato, the right way, where it's like 2 shots of espresso and just a little bit of milk. If you tell them that, or they're telling you that's their macchiato, like, well, that's the place I need to go to.
Yeah.
Because then they know what then they know what a cortado is and a cappuccino is. An 8-ounce cappuccino. But then when you go to another coffee shop and they're like, yeah, what size of cappuccino you want? You're like, oh man, I came to the wrong place. Like, oh man, because cappuccinos traditionally it's only an 8-ounce drink. So no, we would do our research as well.
Us right now, since our favorite's been Costa Rica. So when we did those coffee tours, and for us, we're not like, oh, we just do one coffee tour. No, it's like now we do like 2, 3 coffee tours. We want to see the difference.
Have you thought about going to like a coffee farm?
We've been wanting to do a coffee farm. We just haven't had the time and research to like, because when we go in a group, it's a little bit harder. That's the thing. So so we didn't get to do because there was one that was a coffee tour like connected to a coffee farm. So like they showed us like that. Okay, there's a farm there. We walked through a little bit. The other one, it was more like they brought their beans and they did everything there.
Oh, nice.
But we want to do one where it's strictly just the farm. What I mean? I want to see that process, and that's something like I learned a little bit from that where I thought the coffee bean what it was. Like no, that coffee bean has been surrounded with so much more, and it's like you lose a lot of it in the process. I didn't know that. I thought it like just how like the cocoa bean like just look like that, and that's what it is. Like no, it's a whole fruit. There's like it's a whole fruit in there. Now it's like.
It's a long process.
All I know is after his flight, he came back and he was just like Tweak.
Oh yeah, I was like, I bought a whole coffee bag and I was like, because over in Costa Rica also was another thing like it's a very American thing to do a lot of milk with the coffee.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so over there in Costa Rica, anywhere I went, it's like, oh, can I have my coffee? And they're like, okay. And then it was like, it's just straight black. You know what I mean? Maybe and they'll have like, oh, can I get some cream? And they'll just bring me a little bit of it. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay. But their beans were good in a sense where it's like I didn't need to add too much. It was a lot of fresh coffee anywhere you went in Costa Rica.
I mean, whether it's the coffee beans could be fruity,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole chart of coffee where it's gonna be stone, a little bit woodsy, fruity, and
like a wine.
Yeah, yes.
Like
wow.
a coffee chart, yeah.
Yeah, they have a whole thing, and then I didn't know this too. There was the one there. It's like if you eat, like he'll have us clean our palate, straight coffee. Then if like, oh, here's a cracker, you eat the cracker, then drink the coffee. It changes changes the flavors of the coffee.
Really?
So I was like, oh, it is like wine. That was the first time I had that experience.
Yeah.
So seeing in that like the process, how you gone about choosing your coffee beans and that there's so much out there.
We now roast our own coffee. I don't know if you knew that.
No, at first I knew you were getting from some.
Yes.
From
So
somewhere.
now, since I think the beginning of summer of last year, 2023, we started roasting our own coffee. That was another issue is we were sourcing our coffee out from other places, and it was never consistent. Yeah. So
That's odd.
me, I pay attention to details. So I was like, man, why don't we roast our own coffee? We're roasting so much coffee. We save money, but also we get to control the coffee on how we like it and the amount, and we can also change it. Come from El Salvador, or, Ethiopian, Papua New Guinea. There's all types of coffee, right?
Does the soil dictate how it tastes?
The soil elevation, um, a lot. There's a lot of factors. Just
Just
like
like
the
wine.
process, anything could
okay.
affect the coffee.
Yeah.
Anything. Temperature. So yeah. So we decided to go ahead and just get into the roasting business. We have one of our employees. He's very passionate about roasting coffee and coffee in general. Amazing guy. So we said, okay, well, let's roast.
Do you have a
Yeah.
shout out?
Huh?
Do you have a shout out?
Justin,
There you go.
good kid. Um, so we just decided to, hey, let's go ahead and roast. So we did our research,
Yeah.
found a really good roaster. It's a San Franciscan roaster, quality. It's very important, you know. So we bought the roaster, we installed it, and ever since then, everyone's been liking the coffee. The staff has been liking the coffee. The customers have been liking the coffee. Um, we now sell to certain places that use our coffee beans.
heck yeah.
So yeah, it's starting to grow. We're starting to grow as a
Mhm.
business in the roasting side.
No,
Oh, that's
no,
cool.
the actual process is just like basically a tumbler. Because I've seen different styles. Like if you're in like
Mhm.
a third world country, they'll actually put in a pot and
Put fire
burn
on it.
it. You
Yeah,
know
to
what I
burn the
mean?
pot, to clay pot or something like that,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly. And then I see like more commercialized places have actually like a tumbler,
Yeah.
and then the fire's in there. You know.
Yeah. So like what we have at the San Franciscans, it's called a drum. So inside that drum is where it gets hot from the flames because ours is gas. So think of it in simple terms. Think of like just a gas burner, right? So you have the
Which always makes everything taste so much better.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's just like honestly, I mean, for some people that don't know too much about coffee, I compare it to barbecuing. Do you like your barbecue, wood and yeah, or do you want propane or electric?
Yeah.
The electric
You're
ones.
losing all the flavor.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I see.
So gas is very, very important. Um, yeah, so it warms up the drum, and then the coffee just spins inside, and then that's it. And as soon as you want it, however you want to roast it, typically people after the first crack, they'll wait 20-30 seconds, depending, and then pop it open, and it comes onto this um um, cooling pen, and then it just rotates. So whenever you see the beans like spinning on that's a cooling pen. So it's just cooling the beans as it comes out of the drum. It comes out, lands on the cooling pen, and then there's a blower that cools the beans. So it's just turning the beans. It doesn't cook.
Like, it stops it from. Like,
It's not cooking anything. It's
Yeah.
cooking inside
Mhm.
the drum in the roaster. That's the roaster part. And then once it's ready, you feel like it's ready, then you open it, and it falls into this cooling tray, and the cooling tray just turns it and
Is
cools.
that where you get your roast
Mhm.
level from? Like from
Oh,
like
yeah.
medium to dark and stuff
Yeah.
like
So
that?
that's from the roasting part. So the cracking part. So there's light roast, medium roast, and there's dark roast.
What's cracking?
The beans. So you'll hear the beans crack.
Oh.
Another easy way
Yeah,
too
like
is
the popping those
Popcorn.
like the popcorn, like the
Really?
yeah. You
It
can hear
actually the shell pops or what?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
skin or
Yeah.
whatever?
it's a cracking.
think of it like that.
Oh.
In simple terms, think of it almost like that. When you don't want it popping too much because you're gonna burn it.
Yeah.
You know, think of it like that.
Oh, okay.
So
So there's a certain timing that it
For
takes.
each one.
timing. So we
So there's an audible tone when you know, oh, you got to really watch it now
Okay.
because it's ready.
Typically, the roasters are watching it as soon as they're watching since the very beginning because they're checking the temperature, and you want to drop the beans inside the roaster at the right temperature, so that and then it starts turning inside, and then you got to keep watching it.
I think that'd be a horrible job with somebody with ADHD. Just sit there and just watch the same thing, and they're like,
just going at it.
And I forgot the beans. No, it's pretty intense. Think of it as, I mean, because we have ours attached to a laptop. So the laptop, yeah. So to a computer. That's I wouldn't say the right way, but specialty coffee is done that way. Some people do a traditional way. They throw the beans in there and they just check it and listen. Are you listening to the beans? You're like, oh, okay, that looks right.
Yeah.
But that shows inconsistency. To be consistent, there's softwares that have graphs and it guides you through the process. But first, you have to come up with your own recipe. So, like, let's say you come up with your own recipe, right? For roasting, and then let's say after you roast it, then you cup it, you taste it, and you like it. You're like, oh man, this is good.
Yeah.
No, you're like after you cook it, right? After you cook it, you think like, okay, this is good. Like after roasting, then you cup it, meaning like you brew the coffee or you grind the coffee and then you cup it, right? If you like the flavor notes on it, then you're like, okay, this is a good recipe. Then you keep it. Then you have it saved on your laptop. So now for the next time you roast or whenever, it's consistent every single time. Now you're gonna go with that graph. Now you can control the temperature. You know when exactly to like, okay, take it, open the roaster and let all the beans come out. So
Do you have okay? This is something that I've always wanted to ask you, but I always forget because I just get my coffee. I'm excited for it. I just want my coffee, but I'm like that. But
He's
I
like,
always
"Gimme."
that's the worst part for me. Still waiting. But you don't have. Do you have different roasts, or is it just the one roast that you guys do? Like I know, like you don't do like the light, medium, and dark roast. Or is it
no,
just
we keep our coffee shop is light roast. Most
Okay.
specialty coffee shops are light roast. With light roast, you can get more of you can get the flavor profiles. You know how when you see the coffee bags and it says, for example, milk chocolate,
Yeah.
black tea, you know, um, um, cherry. Everyone's are all going to be different, depending on how you roast it. It's not. Oh, you're gonna taste it, or it has milk chocolate in it,
Yeah.
or oh, it has. You see bourbon. Bourbon. And no, it
Yeah.
doesn't have bourbon in it. It's just how it's roasted. You're potentially gonna have those coffee notes. Depend.
Okay.
I know it's.
No, I'm just thinking like you have a bag that says cola on it. You're like,
Oh,
man.
That's dark roast.
That's the dark. There you go. No man, because that was the thing that always pissed me off about Starbucks. Is like they have all these different coffee bags, but when I learned about it, it's like they just do a lot of like mixing. Like if you really do open it up and kind of spread it out, and if you wash it, because they actually do a lot of coating on their coffee beans. So that's why they're always shiny. Like they're really, really shiny.
What is
If you,
that?
it's just so they all look the same. But if you wash all that off, there's different like color
Color
tones.
tones.
So there's not consistency in those coffee beans. But I was always wondering, is that part of like the process of just how coffee beans are, or is it
I
just
would assume the color, the different colors in the beans, and also the sizes. Meaning, what they might be doing is mixing different beans. An example, I'm assuming they're probably mixing, let's say, a Colombian coffee with a Ethiopian blend.
Mm.
So when you have those blends meaning you have two different coffees or whatever, you mix them together. So when you open the bag, you might see different sizes and uh, color as well.
And you notice the difference.
Yeah.
I
Well,
see.
that's normal. When you have blends, that's
Okay.
typical.
Yeah.
You're gonna see that in blends because usually blends are gonna be two different coffees from two different areas. That's what a blend is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you will probably see that we're more single origin, so we only stick to as of right now. For now, we're only sticking to single origins, meaning like we have three different coffees, but one's packaged only from El Salvador. One of them is Ethiopian, from X and X farm. Another one is probably Papua New Guinea from X and X farm, so and so farm. You know, that's how we do it. We haven't done any blends yet. We haven't tested anything out yet.
Are y'all looking towards that way now? Now that you're growing?
Maybe. Right now we've been liking the single origins.
I mean, if it works.
yeah?
why
I mean, it's
not?
been really good so far. So yeah, it's been work.
It's just that I'll be honest, just the time, man. I mean, we just had a baby. Um,
Oh,
Which congratulations on that.
Yeah.
I bet your wife might be a little bit more happy now that she can have coffee a little bit more now. All right,
No,
no,
so-
still no,
'cause
no.
it's breast milk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
true.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. So
That's what my wife's not looking forward to. She's like,
Yeah.
she loves her coffee. And
see, my wife's like today. I saw her face today, and she's like, I can't have coffee. It's killing her inside. You know, because it. I mean, honestly, I haven't done the research, but I think it does affect the baby because
Yeah, the
it's
caffeine.
it's a. I mean, I think it's a drug, pretty
Yeah.
much, right?
Yeah.
So recently, or she tried drinking coffee and matcha, which
Mhm.
also has caffeine, and
Your
we
baby
know after the
started running?
breastfeeding, the baby starts crying. He starts crying. We're like,
Oh.
he just get fussy and crying, and she's like, "What's oh my god, I don't know why he's fussy and crying and this and that. He was just fine, a couple days ago." And I'm like, "Well, what was your diet like? What did you eat differently? What was it?" She's like, "Well, I started drinking the coffee." Oh, boom, there you go. It's the coffee. It's got to be the coffee. So then I told, okay, stay a few days off the coffee and see what happens. And sure enough, baby was fine. Then she tried one day, boom, baby was fussy. That's it. It's the caffeine. You can't have the
I
caffeine.
guess like the only way to go around that, if she wants like a cheat day with coffee, she might have to like pump or what I
Oh
mean.
yeah, they do that. Yes, they pump
They
it,
can pump,
and then
right?
they clear it, and
Yeah.
then make
Put it
it
in the
pump again.
fridge.
Yeah.
Put it in the freezer and just use that one for later. Yeah, or pump for later. Yeah, after a couple days.
uh, but for sure, the biggest thing that attracted to me when I think the first time I went to you guys, I was like, because I always base my experience on the horchata. Because I always like when people say, "Oh, we have horchata this, horchata that." When I taste it, I'm like, "Man, like, this ain't like homemade or like this ain't like this is just like quick store powder, quick."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you guys gave me, and I love that you guys give the sample. Like I just had a little sample, and I was like, "Give me horchata latte, let's do it."
This right here, um, pretty much made us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the milk that made EarlyBird.
Wow.
This is what got people to love us and love our brand and love our coffee. This being mixed with coffee, you know, exploded our business. I remember when we first opened, we didn't have it. It was good, and then I said, you know what, we need something like for us, like that makes us. And horchata was coming out of everywhere. Everyone's, some other coffee shops were horchata, 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 horchata. And we're like, no, this doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
No,
This is my mom's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not it. So my wife came up with this recipe, and then just people were when you have a business, you ask people for feedback. Like, hey, what do you think? You know, like, oh my god, I love it.
Yeah.
And then people were coming back. Hey, can I get some more horchata? Can I
Yeah.
get what's that thing you gave me a sample of? And I was like, horchata.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's horchata. And I'm like, oh, I want that. Give me that. And I'm like, wow, this is hidden.
Okay, so he actually brought me one, and I was like, "What the f is this?" He's like, and then he's like, he's like, chill out, man. You gotta like savor it. You know what I mean? And I was like,
he was just drinking through it.
My kids come into the shop, they grab the gallon, they start pouring in like the little cups, and start we're drinking horchata, I'm like, calm down, cálmate,
Oh, and I always have to, and it's like my wife. I've told my wife, it's like she's always like, you have to just do the medium, because if I just always get the big one, she's like, you're just gonna go through it too quickly. It's like if I go smaller, I tend to go slower because I know I have less of it. So it's just like
I love it when customers come in and they get their horchata, or they sample the horchata, and they're like, oh, I'm like, oh, what size would you like? Would you like a medium or a large? You're like, oh, just give me a medium. You want to be safe. You're not sure. You want to buy something. You don't want to buy a lot in case you don't like it, right? Man, I love seeing them the next day, or the following day, or the following weekend. They come back, hey, let me get a horchata. The thing you recommended, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, would you like a medium large? Give me the large one. And I'm like, yes. Like they're in love with it. So no, it's been awesome, man. My wife came up with this recipe, and it's been a blessing ever since, to be honest. So,
yeah. Matter of fact, that's a good question. How do you come up with your recipes? Because y'all have quite a selection.
Yeah. So my wife, she makes all the syrups from scratch, the horchata from scratch. So she makes it at home, and I mean, even now, even with the baby, she's been making all the syrups and all the horchata from scratch because no one knows the recipe.
Yeah.
So
you guys won't hear it here.
So yeah, she doesn't want to share the recipe. I mean, we get people like, "Hey, can you sell horchata by itself?" Or like, "No, we don't sell it. We don't sell it separately.
Yeah.
Has to be mixed with something." Um, but yeah, I mean, she just comes up with. I'll be honest, she's a great baker. She's my wife, amazing, love her to death.
Shout out.
Sydney, love you, babe.
Mamacita.
Yeah, she's a great baker. I don't know if you remember back on the trailer, we had banana bread.
Yes.
So she would make the banana bread from scratch.
Okay.
Her baking is amazing. I mean, she bakes. So my wife bakes whenever she feels stress or wants to you know,
Okay, she like focus.
yeah. Whenever she wants to go to La La Land and just get away a little bit, she'll start baking. And then she'll make brownies, cupcakes, muffins,
That must be part of the
breads.
diet.
Oh, it is. I mean, it has been. No, it's horrible.
And then when you come home, you're like, what is that? Yeah.
So I've been giving them to my friends now. I'm like, hey man, I got you some brownies. Hey man, I got you this. And they're like, dude, what do you do? You're killing us, bro. They're delicious, but you're killing us.
Delicious.
Yeah. So I've been trying to get her to bake for the shop, but it's a lot of work because she's already making the syrups and she makes the horchata.
That would be crazy.
The horchata by itself, we do 10 gallons a day on average. Just the horchata by itself. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So she does a lot of the work. A lot of people don't. A lot of customers, they don't see her a lot of inside the shop, but because the demand is so high for the horchata and the syrups, mainly the horchata, she's constantly at home just making the horchata.
So y'all are pretty much a team,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the forefront yourself, working with the customers, doing the shop, and then she's over here making all the product
And
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, if she could bake, oh my god, it would be amazing.
Oh
And
man.
then to have those containers like where you could just showcase it like at a bakery, like a panderia. You know what I mean?
Just like have those things like that.
Money.
Because you guys do have bread there, but that's from other companies that you guys have been working with and
Yes.
allowing them to sell.
Yeah, it saves us time.
Mm-hmm.
We want to spend time with the family, so being a baker is tough.
Yeah.
You have to wake up very early in the morning, to make the dough and let it rise. If in certain types of baking goods, it's a lot of work. So we try like what, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just find some really great vendors. people that can make amazing pastries and just sell them and just focus our attention on coffee.
Yeah.
Just coffee. That's what we need to perfect. We're a coffee shop. Let's perfect the coffee.
Would you
Yeah.
ever subsidize it but put it under contract? Like, if you were to ever steal our recipes, we're gonna sue the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have somebody do it for you, and then kind of relieve the stress
There
from
are
her.
contracts like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, where let's say you hire someone, you have them sign a contract. I forget what it's called. Some people have told us about it. I know there's some big shops that have mentioned it to us. Like,
Yeah.
you make them sign a document. But we're like, no, we're good. We're good. Just keep it us. We're good. We're good. Now, if we're going like 3, 4, 5 locations.
And yeah, she would need the.
Oh, can you imagine? She's with the baby. Watch this.
Yeah.
Okay, because right now you guys want to make sure you got the quality control, just completely.
Quality is very, very important to us. I mean, people will notice when the quality of the coffee has gone down. They'll catch it. They'll notice, like, hey, it tastes a little different today. Oh, okay, cool. Then we'll go back and reassess what the problem was. Was it the coffee? Was it the dialing in? What was it? So it's very important.
It sounds like you're gonna branch out pretty soon, to be honest.
Because there's times where it's pretty busy in the shop, and I'm just like, man, it's a long line. I was like, I need my fix. I'm over here trying to wave you down, like, you know what I already want.
Oh, as soon as he comes in, dude, I already have. Just throw your credit card in, man. I already got it. Yeah, no, it's a blessing. The business has been a blessing. Moving from trailer to the shop, I think that was the challenge for us. Was when most new businesses, when they open their brick and mortar, their clientele base is really small. Usually, it's like family, friends, word of mouth, and then it grows and takes off, right?
Yeah.
So as it grows and takes off, you learn more about your business. You learn how to operate your business, right? You know how to go through the trials, issues that you have. You can fix them right away. It's easier. For us, I think the challenge for us was when we went from the trailer and we had we had an amazing customer base, and then when we transitioned to the shop, within like I think we took like a 2-week break, and then we opened the shop, and then as soon as I didn't even make a post about it, I remember it was just a quick story, Instagram story. That day on, it just because we already had we have an amazing customer base. I mean, people that love our brand, love our coffee, love us, my wife, our staff, and good vibes. So people came to us.
But that, like, where you guys were with the coffee truck was literally just like what, maybe like a good 100 feet away is the brick and mortar that you guys got.
Yeah, that was another key is, well, we don't want to go too far, because whenever you know people are familiar with your one location and then you start to move around, it kind of turns people off and like, oh, it's out of my way, or it's too far, but when you're like, hey man, I'm in the same shopping center just 100 feet away. Cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah, hey, I'll be right there.
Yeah.
So when we moved into the shop, we didn't know how to operate exactly in a shop. We've only known the trailer for a year and a half. So when we got into the shop that first day, I mean, we already had lines since then. So we were trying to, like, okay, how do we manage the flow? How do we still make sure that the quality of the coffee is still there and the customer service is still there, offered the same.
And then also on top of that, you're also trying to keep, like, you're growing and progressing in the same sense.
Yeah.
So in the same sense, you're keeping the initial business, but then you're just like, you want to move forward. Like, how do we make it better? So that's a more stress.
The experience.
Yeah.
Because everybody was used to, okay, the trailer, great vibes, the staff was great, customer service was awesome, and the coffee was good. So how do you bring that and move it 100 feet into the brick and mortar?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
And then different building, new machine. How do you do that? And still offer the great customer service experience, quality coffee, and great vibes. How do you still do that? And that was a challenge with the influx of customers coming at the same time.
Man, you withheld the product for 2 weeks. We were there like struggling. Like we're like EarlyBird isn't opening it. EarlyBird isn't opening it. We're just like once you posted that story, and I think my wife too, like, cause she was like, oh, they have it closed. They're gonna open the store. I'm like, okay, but she saw your story and she's like, they're open now. And I was like, we gotta go. And when we went, and like it was a really long line, and
it's extremely convenient for you.
yeah, I mean, for me, we don't live too far away from there, so it was really convenient. But yeah, when we saw that line, we're like, dang. We're like, but we stayed. We were like, all right, we need that coffee.
I mean, everyone came. I mean, a lot of the customers that were regulars that were coming from the trailer, they came, and then newer customers that probably follow us and just saw the store like, oh my god, they opened brick and mortar. Let's go check it out. Them two, and then the word of mouth just spread like wildfire, and like, oh my god, and then trying to keep that, that momentum. Yeah, that was a challenge. I mean, it's a good thing to have, as a business, but it was
Getting that recognition too. You gained voted as best coffee in San Antonio. It must have felt like the validation from it must have been amazing.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It shows what type of customers we have. That they love us, and we love them. We appreciate their business. We appreciate them. They come in every day, and they make our day. And they come in, with their dogs or their kids or their loved ones or their families. Oh, hey, they came from the valley. They came. I want them to try y'all's coffee or horchata, or they came from Austin or Dallas or even out of state, whatever. I'm like, yeah. Here's your horchata, and then they drink it and they're like, oh my god, this is amazing. Usually it's about 99%. Whenever I get a customer and they're like, not a fan of it, and I'm like, it's okay. We still got something else for you. We'll find you something.
Those rare customers.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah, like I got a lavender one I think you would like.
It wasn't good.
Yeah. No, it happens, but hey.
There's those picky ones, but it's all good. They like their Starbucks. We won't hate on them too much. But hey, man, you're talking about it, and so let's try to get a little samples on it.
So here, I'll give you that. I can just pass it around. So that's just the milk.
Yeah.
And then that milk, I would mix it with the coffee. You said you had it already, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So I would mix that with the coffee, or I can mix it with the chai or a matcha.
That's damn good.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's damn good.
So for sure, when we bring you back, we're gonna bring you back in your store so we can the coffee and show everyone just how good that coffee is.
Yeah.
So man,
for sure.
this milk,
I think that'd be a great idea. Yeah, so good.
Right.
I love it when I get a customer and I'm at the register and I'm like, would you like a sample? And I'll get a person. I'm like, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm like, all right, cool. And let's say their significant other, it's like, okay, I'll take it. And they try it, and they're like, oh my god, it's so good. And the other person's like, oh shit, it is good. And they're like, just try it. And the person's like, okay, fine, I'll try it. Then they try, and they're like, all right, go ahead and just give me that. Like, no, just take the sample.
And I always love that, like seeing people. Like if I'm in line, I hear someone like, "Oh, this is my first time here," this and that. Like, I always try to look at their face. I love to see that brand. I love seeing that brand new. I'm like, yeah, it's good.
When you're right behind them, and I'm like, "Is your first time?" They're like, "Yeah, great. Here's a sample."
I'm always excited. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna like that.
That's cool, man.
But definitely love seeing too. Like, I mean, it's amazing that we San Antonio born and everything here. So love to see that, and also seeing that. you guys being so successful, and you're also allowing other businesses to be part of you guys with having your,
Yes.
you know, we've seen some people, with their baking. We've had recently. I've seen the ones with barbecue. The barbecue. You want?
Shout out to KC Barbecue, Miguel.
KC.
Yeah.
I've heard about them.
Yeah,
KC
so
barbecue.
they'll be a future guest here once they have their menu
Oh, really?
revamped.
Yeah, but no
menu
no
revamped.
joke.
Yeah.
Dude, his stuff, man.
It's so good.
It's I told I was talking to him the other day, and I said, bro, you need to just open a brick and mortar. Like, just do it. I mean, I'll be honest, that's part that's part of the business. You watch all these TikToks, about motivational speeches and videos and yada yada yada, and it's all just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Everything will come afterwards, and you'll figure everything out afterwards.
Yeah.
Just do it. And I
Yeah.
told him, like, bro, just open it one up. I'll help, man. I'll help you, man. I'll guide you, whatever you need.
That's actually how we got started.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
People have been
just do it.
just do it.
Because
we talked about it.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah,
We're redundant at this point, but we just went full force into it, and just the fact that it went so fast.
And now getting support from the people that we've had on this show, and then them supporting us has just been a blessing with that. But like you said, just do it. Like, man, every time I see them, when I get a coffee and I see them, like, I already know. Grabbing coffee, gonna get some barbecue from them.
It's like searching for a dream. Like, like a lot of, nobody goes for that. Like, everybody just kind of sticks in line, like cows. You know what I mean? But then there's that one random one that'll jump the fence, and he's like, "See ya," and then he lives his best life. You know what I mean? Or her, it's a cow.
Well, seeing that passion from them, and then seeing yours, and then seeing the people, because everyone you're bringing there, it seems like it's all that same passion coming from everybody.
I'm big about entrepreneurship. So when I was young, I think I was like 21, 22, I opened a hookah bar. While I was in college with two buddies of mine. We opened up a hookah bar here in San Antonio, and we did that for a few years. But man, I've always loved entrepreneurship. It's amazing. It's great.
Like to do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You only live once.
And then when you say like, "Oh, I'm going to work," it's really not work.
Yeah, you get to enjoy it.
Exactly. It's a lot of process. Yeah, exactly.
And I see my staff. It seems like someone that becomes a barista, they do it because they love coffee. They have a passion for it, and that's what I like. Is when I hire staff and they're like, "Oh man, I love coffee. I just love it." I'm like, and I want to learn how to make. I remember I had this one girl, and she's awesome, by the way. Um, she she's never worked in coffee, but she had like this passion for coffee. Like, I want to work around coffee. I've been doing latte art. I'm pulling shots at home, this and that. And I'm like, you know what? And she really wanted to work at a coffee shop. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna hire her. She was passionate. She had that drive, and I like that. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna give her an opportunity. And sure enough, she picked it up. She caught on. Um, I don't know. Just whenever someone has that drive or passion, kind of like I did for coffee and opening up a business, I love that, and I want to give them that opportunity. Another example was um, my roaster. He's worked at multiple coffee shops. Then he came work for us in the trailer, and then into the shop. And then he got into roasting, and he's like, man, he even bought a little chiquito roaster at his no joke, for his apartment. And was like, hey, we'll make some coffee. Roast me some coffee, and I would taste it. Like, oh, this is good. Maybe I would critique it. I'd be like, roast it, a little less, a little bitter. All right, cool. And then he would bring it to the shop, and until I was like, dude, this is good. Yeah. This is great. It's just like barbecuing. Hey, man, this brisket, it was dot on this time. And he had that passion for roasting. And that's one of the reasons why I said, let's buy a roaster. You have a passion for it, and I see your drive for it, and it's an opportunity for me as a business, and I want to grow as a business. I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that drive.
Yeah.
I crave. I love it when people have that passion.
Yeah.
I have a customer. She's a regular, and surprisingly, she was also a regular at my hookah bar.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that until she started coming to the shop, and she was like, "Man, you look familiar." So anyway, she has a passion for what do you call the bread? Sourdough
Oh,
bread,
sourdough bread?
the
Yeah.
the round one, sourdough
Yeah.
bread. And she brought me a sample, and I was like, "Oh man, this is amazing. This is great."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Really, really?" I said, "No, this is awesome." I was like, "What if you did a pop up here?" And she's like, "Oh, okay, okay." Swear to God, now she's making sourdough. She's made some for the barista. Like I think it was yesterday before she came, and she brought two different types of sourdough for the baristas. Hey, try this, try that. Hey, and she has a passion to do a pop up at her place and potentially grow
Yeah.
her business. And that's great. I love that.
Yes.
I try to push people for that. If I know there's a good product or someone potentially has a good product, I invest or I just push the people like, yes, this is good. Keep going. Don't stop. Perfect it and grow with it. Everyone has a talent. Everyone has a skill. Just go for it.
Yeah.
If you have passion for it, just do it. If it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. Try something else and just
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really try to promote that. Um,
Yeah, because I know you also tried to I know you probably try to make it a new space now for it, but you have also like the ones where people can put their cards and businesses on stuff.
yeah, I have a billboard. I mean, almost every coffee shop does where you can
Yeah.
just put your business. Um, you can put your business card and as long as it's clean.
Yeah.
We got families, but yeah, we promote that. Yeah.
Wow, man, I always loved it, and I'm always excited to see something new. Like if I see something new there at the store, I'm like, ooh, okay. What are they selling? Because there was this one where they had the bread, or oh man,
Was it gluten free?
no, it wasn't gluten free. There was one that my wife went really crazy for. And
Was
they
it bread?
it was there was some they had
The
pastries and
trailer or was it at the shop?
it was at the shop. There was one time, and they always tend to sell out. Like when you guys open up, they tend to sell out by like 11 a.m. They tend to sell out pretty quickly. I haven't seen them in a while.
It's a bread.
Yeah, they sell like pastries.
pastry.
Yeah, like a pastry bread.
Hey,
And
so,
it was like,
so whose new card is at the shop?
oh yeah. So now we put our cards now
yeah,
at
yeah,
your
yeah.
shop. You know what I mean? So which again, we appreciate it definitely. You know, what I mean, now that we finally did have a card, people kept asking, like, "Do you guys have a card?" It's like we don't,
Yeah,
but it's like, yeah, we're working on it.
I know when he came to the shop, he said, "Hey man, I got our business cards. They came." That's good. I mean, that's it's part of the process of owning your own business and doing what you love is these small little accomplishments, and then next you know it, a year later you look back, you're like, oh man, we did this and we did this and we did this. Wow, you end up doing a lot.
It's only been a couple months for
I
us.
know.
This is great.
I know. I think
This is
our
awesome.
official start was in like on Halloween.
Yes,
That was our official
that
start.
was our first episode.
Yeah.
Doing here at
Yeah.
At this place.
And we
yeah.
had none of this on the wall.
It was pretty blank.
Yeah.
When we first started, it was pretty blank.
Upper deck, Michael Jordan. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, man. We're hoping to get a few Spurs in here too. Let's see.
Have y'all thought about doing like other sports celebrities, like people from SAFC soccer?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a great idea.
We're
That
definitely
is
trying to
actually a great idea.
branch and
And
hopefully
you know
get.
what's crazy is like, cause I'm very new to social media. I've only
Oh,
been
yeah.
on social media for, as of February, a year,
Mhm.
and this is what we created from it.
Just from
It's
one
only
year.
one year. Yeah.
And I had it, but I'm not a big like
Yeah,
poster.
he's very private.
Yeah, I'm more like keeping to myself. So this is like for sure breaking my shell, like trying to be more open and
Oh,
public
yeah.
about everything. Definitely.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's good.
And then it's like it was just like, why not try? Why not?
Mhm.
What are they gonna say? No?
Yeah.
And then just throw it out there, and it'd be like, oh, dude, we got so and so. Holy
know.
crap, we got so and so. I can't believe we're sitting in the room with so and so. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like we're getting all this stuff from other businesses, and we're working with other businesses, and then now we're starting conventions, and
yeah, man.
it's literally only been a couple months.
Try. I would definitely try. I mean, we have season tickets to SAFC games, the soccer team here in San Antonio. Great team. I think they won the championship 2 years ago. Awesome. My kids love soccer.
That field is gorgeous.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's a Toyota field, right?
Yeah.
Nice field. Some of the guys that play for, or the guys that we've met, awesome people. One of them mainly comes to he comes to the shop with his fiance, I think. That's her wife. But his name is Mitch Tanner. No. Awesome guy.
Yeah. What position do you know? Is he a forward?
No, he's
mid.
No, in the back.
I know. I actually played soccer.
Well, that's worse on you. I only know the goalie and the forwards. That's the only one I usually pay attention to.
What do you call him? Oh my God.
You'll probably. I bet you when you walk outside, you'll be like, "Fuck."
My son's gonna be like, "Are you kidding me?" You know.
You're gonna redo the episode.
Right. Scratch that out. Take it out.
Okay.
But yeah, no, man, you should definitely interview someone from SAFC. You know, good people.
Well, you can always throw in the.
Yeah, no, I will. I will definitely mention it.
I mean, because for the most part, we've been trying to reach a lot of people through social media, but it's kind of hard because people tend to see something like that, it's like it kind of looks like spam. You know what I mean? When reaching out through either our Instagram, which is Pulse, and then our personal ones, and people tend to be a little more hesitant when they see from that. So that's why we prefer to meet people in person.
Plus I think a lot of people are just nervous. I was nervous,
How do you feel now?
Still nervous. it's you know.
Hey, you're doing great though.
Thanks.
You
I mean, yeah, we get the people, we're nervous. I don't want to be on camera. It's like, just don't focus on that. We'll just keep talking. You know what I mean?
You are right though. After a while, this, you forget there's a camera right here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was tricky for us at first too, because we were like trying to put on a show, and we're like, how do we do it? And then it just got to a consistency where just like, this is easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like his and I, our dynamic, we get along so well.
Yeah, we do.
So like we're able to help others, in the interview process and stuff like that, like to carry them. So there's barely any like lag time. There's barely any.
I thought
silence.
on my way over here, I was talking to my wife. I was like, man, you know what? I should have brought a hookah.
Right.
Just to be, stress free a little bit, not so nervous. Had a little hookah, but I was like, I don't want to be the only one smoking. It's kind of rude. So.
You never know. Next time we'll be there at the coffee shop. We'll have some coffee, some hookah. Right? Yeah. At first, I mean, when we only had access to comedians because we worked at the comedy show. But they were like, they're obviously more comfortable because they're on stage in front of everyone. That's what they do. So in the beginning, you can tell we were a little overshadowed a little bit, but now we got so comfortable. It's just more like our job is to make everyone else comfortable now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially if we're trying to be San Antonio's promoter. You know what I mean? That's what we want to be for San Antonio. We want to promote everything for.
Actually, we want to destroy every podcast that's out there.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we want to be the only one.
We're coming after you.
Is San Antonio alone? If there's something for San, we've noticed that when it comes to podcasts, there's quite a few, but they're really one subject. Boring. Yeah, one subject's podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's if they want to do food trucks, that's all they're doing. It's just going to be food trucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? If they're doing only restaurants, that's all they're going to be doing is restaurants. Which for us, it's it's fine. If it works for them, it works for them. For us, we don't want to be.
No, we're not going to be stuck in a corner. Yeah, we want, but
so you're trying to go for a variety of things.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because San Antonio is not just one thing; it's everything.
Oh yeah, San Antonio is it's so full of so many things that people don't even realize. They're missing.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's sad because it's it's never heard. You know what I mean? And then this is that platform that we can showcase, other people. And then hopefully bring them up as well. But that's our main passion is San Antonio. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If we get celebrities,
great. You know what I mean? We won't say no. Definitely won't say no.
No, that's awesome, man. No, I wish you guys the best.
And also, we appreciate you just coming on in general. You know what I mean? Of course, you know what I mean.
Thanks for having us. I'll be honest. my wife and I, we've been offered to do to join some podcasts, and we're just scared.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Most people are scared. You know, we don't know what we're gonna say, how we're gonna like how we're gonna sound right after.
Yeah.
You know, did we say something wrong? You know, people are.
We can always edit it out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll edit out the part with the Jello wrestling. So.
Yeah, I think that's why we never did. We're always scared. You know, what if we say something wrong?
Yeah.
So that's why we never really did it. But this time, you asked us a couple times. Like, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
No,
you know,
appreciate that you said
see what happens.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It
So,
was good.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much
much,
for
yeah.
being on our show.
Thanks for having us.
We're looking forward to working with you from now on.
I definitely recommend doing it at the coffee shop.
We'll definitely,
You got us.
Yeah, you got us, definitely.
And we got you too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna promote you as well.
Definitely. We'll put everything on there. We'll just schedule it. You know what I mean? We'll schedule a time there. What's convenient for you, definitely. And then of course, you can let everyone know your Instagram handles where they can find you and everything. And so.
Instagram, Facebook. My wife handles all the social media part. So Instagram, EarlyBird Coffee Roasters. There's Facebook. Oh man, what else? I think that's all. Oh, our website, coffeewithearlybird.com. Okay. We found out someone made a fake website.
Oh, they still
for
do.
EarlyBird.
Yeah, they do.
So that's what we decided. Like, oh man, I had customers come in and they're like, hey, can I get this? And we're looking at their phones, like, oh, that's not our website.
Yeah.
Like, no, and it has like weird prices, weird names, and we're like, no, that's not us. Sorry, we tried to report it at Google or whoever, whatever my wife did, but yeah. So we had to come up with our own website.
Okay, well, hopefully they can get that.
But it's coffeewithearlybird.com.
All right.
So thanks everybody. It's another great episode with Pulse. Make sure you follow him. Go to his shop. I mean,
definitely.
You're only gonna get the best.
Little chata.
Little chata, yes.
Get it. I recommend it.
Definitely.
Guarantee it. And I'm not even a coffee drinker. I love that shit. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.